Nothing Phone 3 is Nothing's first ever flagship phone. Well, how is that? This is actually the first phone of theirs that can compete with phones from other major phone companies, Apple, Samsung, Google, and other companies. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll be able to decide if this is worth buying for yourself. And we'll see what makes the Nothing Phone 3 stand out from the rest of the competition. When you take a look at the Nothing Phone 3, the camera placement has been changed around a bit compared to the previous Nothing Phone 3A. The lenses look more scattered near the top of the phone, but the crazy part about these cameras is that they all have been upgraded to 50 megapixel sensors. The Nothing Phone 3 also has 60 times digital zoom that Nothing calls ultra zoom, so you can zoom in on extremely far distances while maintaining solid image resolution. I don't think the upgrade is shocking per se because Nothing has made budget phones in the past with extremely good cameras. However, when the next Nothing phone comes around, I don't think there is going to be much room for camera improvement unless Nothing decides to actually go the extra mile and add something crazy like a 100 megapixel or even a 200 megapixel camera sensor like what Samsung does, and then users will be able to finally have that 100 times digital zoom. Also, I'm really fond of having a 50 megapixel sensor for the selfie camera because normally I record videos from my selfie camera and it sucks having that lower resolution than you don't see on the rear cameras. So this would be a great phone for photographers. If you do content or you're the type of person who just likes to take a lot of pictures and video, then this phone is the one for you. Well, of course, there's also performance and battery we need to consider. The Nothing Phone 3 has excellent battery at 5,150 milliamp hours. However, it's 5,500 only in India. The only phone you'll find with battery life that's remotely similar to the Nothing Phone 3 is the Pixel 9, but it's only 4,700 milliamp hours. This is excluding Plus, Pro, Pro Max, Ultra, and XL models, you know, because Nothing doesn't have that. So you could say the battery on the Nothing Phone 3 exceeds expectations. I always love a phone with a good battery, and while it's not always the case, it's usually telling of a phone's performance and how much it can handle. In fact, while we're on the topic, the Nothing Phone 3 uses a brand new Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 chip. This isn't some top of the line flagship chip like the Snapdragon 8 Elite, but in the Nothing Phone 3's case, this will be more fitting for a premium flagship killer type of phone, except this is an actual flagship phone. The chip is still really good, but with some disadvantages, even compared to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Clock speeds are slower at 3.2 gigahertz and there is no 4K 120 FPS or 8K photo support. It's also incompatible with mmWave 5G, unlike the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. There's nothing wrong with regular 5G, that's just more range, but I guess you won't get those same high speeds without mmWave, just to make a clear distinction here. But this kind of chip can handle playing games like Call of Duty Mobile at 120 FPS with medium graphics and even play games like Genshin Impact with a high FPS without any stutters or lag. So just based on battery, processor, and cameras alone, I would recommend this to anyone looking for their next Android flagship. But that's not all. Next to the cameras, there's this new circular panel which kind of looks like a camera lens called the Glyph Matrix. It has built-in LEDs that appear in the form of small white glowing dots. It displays built-in visualizers for NFC, and you can choose your own visualizer for notifications and even when you increase or decrease the volume. So if for some reason you have your phone on silent mode and don't want to miss any important notifications, you'll have a custom light pattern letting you know if you received a text, and it's super smooth, it looks cool, and there's even a feature that allows you to play games on a Glyph Matrix called Glyph Toys. So you can play rock, paper, scissors, spin the bottle for some reason, Magic 8 Ball, and you can also look at a compass and digital clock on the Glyph Matrix. Now there are supposed to be more Glyph toys coming soon to the Matrix, but I think it would be pretty cool if they could add a tic-tac-toe game. Maybe they've already done it or they will do it in the next update, who knows, but that's just my thoughts. I think this is a pretty cool way of killing boredom without using an insane amount of battery for mobile games and such. I feel like Glyph toys themselves feel more like a last resort if for some reason your phone battery is insanely low or you just don't have any bars. The Matrix is a cool feature though, and a nice little addition to the Nothing Phone's aesthetic. It's definitely a step up from the Glyph lights with a more personalized and interactive feel. Now, Because a Nothing phone is a flagship phone, it's also starting at a flagship price. This phone starts at $800, which is the same price as a base iPhone 16, Galaxy S25, and a Pixel 9. The question is it even worth $800? Well, it checks off every one of my boxes. It has phenomenal cameras, great design, a good flagship level chip for overall performance and gaming. Its screen resolution has increased to 460 pixels per inch, and the battery is huge. Do I think it's better than a Galaxy S25 or Pixel 9? Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's a great phone and definitely worthy to be considered a flagship, I'll give you that. But I feel like Nothing still has some ways to go, not so much from a hardware standpoint, but software. However, Nothing did add a new essential search bar, so you can not only access apps and widgets, but you can answer questions with Nothing's built-in AI resource. The essential space is a unique concept with a unique ability to create schedules and create suggestions based on AI-powered analytics. It gathers data from saved photos, videos, and voice memos from a single space, and the essential key can be used to screenshot and upload images to the essential space or upload voice recordings. So while I do appreciate the originality and creativity, it does not have the same level of maturity as the AI from the latest Pixel or Galaxy phones. But if you don't care about the AI features or you just want a clean-cut functional software, then it's right up your alley. I'd say aside from those features, it would be on par with the Pixel 9 from at least a hardware standpoint. If not, I actually think it's a little bit better. So for anyone who is wondering about switching from a Pixel to a Nothing Phone 3, I think it would be a decent upgrade, just as long as you're willing to risk the loss of Gemini Live, and Pixel's advanced post-photo processing edits. That's it for the video. Like the video if you thought this was insightful, and please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.